Hello YouTube, my name is Nero, and today we have some Call of Duty Black Ops 3 playing the beta, and the second episode of a new series here on my channel that I think we're going to start calling Sunday Sit-Downs. It was the highest rated comment on the last episode, the pilot episode of this series, if you will, where I asked you guys, what should I call this series? It's going to be a weekly vlog where I sit down every Sunday and just discuss whatever comes to mind. I talk about my week, I talk about life, I talk about gaming, Call of Duty, anything, right? Just anything that comes to mind, right? And primarily, like, the number one comment was, Sunday sit-downs. There was a lot of great suggestions. There really was. One of my favorites, personally, was Nero and Chill. I thought that was a pretty funny one. But ultimately, I think Sunday sit-downs works pretty well. I think it's a pretty good name, and I think that's going to be the name of this series going forward. So what is this series? Maybe if you didn't catch the pilot episode, again, just like I mentioned, it's going to be a weekly vlog, essentially, where I sit down and discuss whatever comes to mind. And typically there's going to be gameplay in the background. This week is going to be Black Ops 3 beta, but unfortunately, I think I'm pretty much like bone dry when it comes to Black Ops 3 beta stuff. I'm pretty sure that any and all Black Ops 3 beta footage that I still have saved, I've already used in other videos. Like, it's gotten to that point, man. The beta was a long time ago, and I can only have so much gameplay from the beta. So forgive me if like any of this is repeat gameplay, but it's so hard to, be able to tell what's repeat gameplay and what's not, because there's only, of course, a certain amount of guns, and there's only 4 maps, and I only play certain game modes, and so it's kind of hard to tell what's repeat and what's not. Maybe I should try and implement a system where after I use a gameplay, if I don't immediately delete it afterwards, I can like change the title of it on my computer to used in parentheses or something like that, just so I know that yes, it has been used in a video before. Something like that might be a good system to implement in the future, especially with Black Ops 3 right around the corner. So, as I'm sure you guys can tell, I'm not sure how the recording is going to sound like, but I think I'm getting sick, guys. I think I've come down with a cold here. I was talking about it on Twitter last night. When I woke up today, it was considerably worse. My throat is just terrible. Like, I don't feel ill. Like, I don't feel like I have a head cold, right? Like, I don't feel like pressure in my head. I'm not feeling like sweaty or anything. I'm not feeling like I'm really gonna be sick. I do feel, however, like I'm going to be sick in the next couple of days. Do you guys know what feeling I'm talking about? So, essentially, it's like that feeling in like the back of your sinuses, where you're like, you know what? I'm not sick today, but I have a feeling in about 2 days or so, I'm probably going to be sick. That's what I kind of feel like right now, and it's pretty terrible. I actually just went down to the store, and I got these freaking cough drops. I got the wrong ones. Yeah, I wanted the Fruit Breezers, because the Hall's Fruit Breezers are like, they taste like candy, but they're, obviously there to kind of help out your throat a little bit. I ended up getting the wrong kind. I ended up getting, what is this? It's like an orange menthol kind flavor thing. They're not bad. They're not great. I was hoping for the Fruit Breezers, but these are okay. Anything, I suppose, that helps. But yeah, my throat is just so raspy, and it hurts. Honestly, it hurts to speak. And it could be for a number of things. It could just be a common cold. It is October, almost November even. So, it's a changing of the seasons. It's getting colder out, and maybe I just caught a cold. It happens to people, Another thing that could have been happening, it's a theory that I have going back and counted. I look back at NerosCinema and Nero's Let's Plays over the past 3 days, not counting today, but Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And between those 2 channels, I've uploaded 14 videos in 3 days. And so as a result, I'm wondering if maybe I just need to rest my voice a little bit. I don't know, but October's been so much fun. I've been having so much fun in October because, of course, like, it's the 4th quarter of the year, right? So there's, like, all this news coming out for games that are going to be coming out in the future. Of course, a new Call of Duty's right around the corner. It's like one of the best times of the year, right? Especially if you're a YouTuber. There's just so much to talk about, so many things to do. And just have been having so much fun with the channel lately. Like, every day you wake up, you're like a little bit of a spring in your step. You're like, yeah, Black Ops 3 is on the way. Wonder what new info and stuff. Like, every day I wake up and I check the news. I check Twitter. It's like, holy crap, some amazing stuff is happening. Like the new Friday the 13th game that was announced. And like, it's just been such a great, fun month. I've just been making so many videos. I wonder if maybe I've overdone it a little bit and my throat is starting to go away, or maybe I just caught a common cold. I don't know, guys. I don't know, but hopefully it ends up going away in the near future, because I hate being sick. I am somebody who is never, ever sick. Like, I have always been my entire life, like, like the epitome of like an immune system. Like I'm never sick. I do get sick, obviously, but it happens maybe once a year, if that. Like I am never ill. Growing up, I never had any allergies. I was never sick. I've never broken a bone. I've always just been like the perfectly healthy person all the time, in a lot of respects. And so when I do get sick, it's like, how do people live with this? I'm not used to this. I don't like being sick. I'm not good at it. I feel miserable. Like, is this what people feel like all the time? Like, I can't take this. It's terrible. But hopefully it doesn't impact the progress we're making so far, because October's been just such a great month, guys. It really has been. I'm enjoying all the videos we're putting out. I'm enjoying uploading every single day. Like, I'm enjoying all the content I'm able to make for you guys. I definitely like that. And of course, being a YouTuber and it being the fourth quarter, things are a bit better in that respect as well. We're back on the upswing in terms of the global ad market, which I think that's like the one downside to being a YouTuber. YouTube is by far my dream job. The past 4 years have just been amazing. What's kind of weird about the past 4 years, which is all the time I've been on YouTube and making videos here for NerosCinema and to a lesser extent Nero's Let's Plays, is the past 4 years, they don't necessarily seem like years. They kind of seem like one long run-on year where everything kind of blends together. It's just been so much fun this entire time. Like, I think YouTube is by far the best decision I've ever made in my life, was starting my YouTube channel and continuing to work at it every single day. I love it. It's so much fun. So much fun. But the one downside I would say to YouTube, the one downside is the fact that you're kind of reliant on the global ad market. That's the one downside, I'd say, because as a result of being reliant on the global ad market, your sole income comes from ads that are shown on your videos. And so if the ad market's kind of down a little bit, then obviously you're going to get some pretty bad payments. And as a result of that, I talked about it in my YouTube Red video. If you guys missed that, I'm sure you've heard about YouTube Red to death by now. But if you would like to check it out, there's going to be a link to it down there in the video description. You guys can go over there, and essentially that video is going to tell you about YouTube Red, the new subscription service that's going to be starting on YouTube in about 3 days. But in that video, I also discuss, how bad 2015 was for a lot of people. Like, ever since last January, the ad market has been terrible. And so it can be tricky sometimes being a YouTuber in that respect, which is why sometimes you see an increase in sponsored videos. There's typically not sponsored videos here on NerosCinema, but I have done them in the past, and I would like to not have to do a lot of them in the future, just to kind of like maintain things and keep everything kind of even. So what I decided to do, and I was very reluctant to do this at first, but I have gotten a number of requests for it, and it does seem like the right time to do it. I decided to make a Patreon page, and if you guys would like to check it out, it is patreon.com/NerosCinema, and allow me to preface this entire thing by saying I am in by no means dire straits. I'm not out there on the street, I'm not fighting for ends meet or anything like that. I am fine, guys, I am fine. But I did decide to start a Patreon page, and what you can do over there is you can become a patron, and you can start donating money to NerosCinema and to Nero's Let's Plays every single month. There are no reward tiers right now, right? You can donate $1, you can donate $2, whatever it is per month. It does not matter to me. Any contribution, big or small, is helpful. But there's no reward tiers because I couldn't think of any reward tiers that wouldn't gate off content to the rest of my community. So initially, like, some of my ideas were for reward tiers. So what if, if they donate, or they pledge $5 a month? What if I were to make an extra Dear Nero every single week, and then that episode of Dear Nero, I would only answer questions from patrons, and only the patrons would be able to see that specific episode of Dear Nero? Then I thought to myself, there's a lot of people that like Dear Nero. Like, my core fans, at the end of the day, the people that love me and my channel the most, they're not just there for Call of Duty, they're not just there for gameplay news, but the people that are interested in me and my channel, those are the people that watch Dear Nero. And to gate off, the vast majority of my people from an entirely extra Dear Nero every single week, behind a paywall. I don't want NerosCinema to have DLC. I don't want there to be paid content on my channel. I had another idea. It's what if I were to start a podcast and make that available to patrons? I'm wait a minute. I wouldn't want to do that because that would gate off stuff to my community as well. It's this really stinks. So essentially what my Patreon page is, if you go over there, you can, I wrote up an entire thing over there as well if you guys would like to read that. But essentially, it's go there if you would like to donate money on a monthly basis to NerosCinema and Nero's Let's Plays. Feel free to do so. Keep in mind, all the money that I receive from Patreon will, in fact, go towards improving my YouTube channels. It's not going to go towards me buying hookers and cocaine. It's going to go towards me upgrading my equipment, essentially, for NerosCinema and Nero's Let's Plays. Keeping up with the Joneses, as it was. Because my microphone, I like my microphone. I think it's a great mic. I'm using the Rode Podcaster, but there's better microphones out there. There's actual microphones that are XLR and have audio interfaces. I can actually get better audio quality than what I have right now. There's better stuff out there that I can get better video quality quality, I could try to soundproof my office a little bit, which gets very expensive. Trust me, I've looked into it. The office that I have here, which is really the best room in the house for my office, has 4 windows in it. And as a result of that, sometimes with like the outside noise and whatnot, it can get kind of loud, and I have to kind of work around that. Well, if I got a certain amount of money per month from Patreon, I could work to soundproof the entire office. So just know that if you do decide to become a patron to NerosCinema and Nero's Let's Plays, because they're both going to go towards those 2 channels, which are the 2 channels I run here on YouTube, obviously, then all that money is going to go towards improving my YouTube channel. It's going to go directly into making better content for you guys. And maybe in the future we can start adding reward tiers that wouldn't be gated off content, but I don't know exactly what those reward tiers would actually be yet. And I'm open to any and all suggestions in the comments. You guys are usually great when it comes to ideas like that. So if you have ideas for reward tiers that you think could be fair and fun for everybody and not gate off part of the community from content, then I'm more than happy to hear it. Let me know in the comments. I would love to see your guys' suggestions for that. So yeah, patreon.com/NerosCinema. I finally decided to put one together. I've gotten a number of requests over the years. People have been donating on YouTube via the new tip jar. And you guys know who you are. Thank you guys. You guys are amazing. But I think Patreon's a bit better. I think Patreon will work a little bit better in that respect. And yeah, so hopefully you guys go ahead and check that out. So what has been going on this week? What's been going on this week besides Nero is obviously getting sick, I can tell from his voice, as well as Nero started a Patreon page. Well, I got Black Ops 3 early. Well, I may have Black Ops 3 early. Let me explain. There's a whole story. So sit back and relax. That's what Sunday sit-downs are for. Wildcat, I'm sure you guys know, I am Wildcat. He got me in the Skype chat, and we were in there. It was myself, Wildcat, and another YouTuber by the name of I'm Marksman, who you guys may have already heard of him. He is a Call of Duty Search and Destroy YouTuber. He's about 200,000 subs, very popular channel, very good Search and Destroy player, like freaking otherworldly. And yeah, so there's the 3 of us in the chat. We're kind of like scouring the internet looking for early copies of Black Ops 3 because as YouTubers, we try to get the Call of Duty game early, and the reason for that is if we have the new Call of Duty game early, we can obviously play it early, record stuff early, and then come opening night when the embargo lifts, we can actually make videos and have a bunch of them ready to go. If you've been a fan of NerosCinema over the past couple of years, you'll realize that, on opening night, like come the stroke of midnight on release day for a new Call of Duty, I have like 4 videos that immediately go public. That's because I got Black Ops 2 early, I got Modern Warfare 3 early, I got Ghost early, I got Advanced Warfare early. I've gotten all these games early, and usually you have to pay a lot more, sometimes 4 or 5 times the initial price of the game to get it early. But if you're a YouTuber that does this professionally, then it's usually worth it. It will usually even out in the end. And so we're trying to get the game early. We found a kind of a dodgy eBay link. It was kind of dodgy, to be honest. But this guy had pictures. He had proof that he had early copies of the game. It was for the PS4, if that matters to any of you guys. And so we're looking at that, and we all end up deciding to pull the trigger on it. We all decide because he has like 3 or 4 copies of Black Ops 3 early. He was providing some proof. Essentially what he's going to be doing is he's going to be getting more on Tuesday, apparently, which I don't know why he's getting them on Tuesday, how he's getting them on Tuesday. But once soon as he gets them in hand, he's going to be overnighting them to us, and they should be getting here on Wednesday. And it's all backed by eBay. Like eBay has this entire like 14-day money back guarantee. He's got like 100% positive feedback. Like it looks to be pretty legit. If it's not, we'll look for another person. We'll get our money back and get our refunds, and then look for other people to try and get the game early. But it's looking pretty good. Well, you don't know. I obviously never know with these people, but yeah, I may be getting Black Ops 3 on Wednesday. That would be pretty cool. Like, think about Black Ops 3, right? I am so excited for the game, and I'm not even sure if I'm excited for the multiplayer. That's gonna sound weird, but hear me out on this. So I've gotten the last 4 Call of Duty games early. And I can tell you from experience, guys, I will tell you from experience that having Call of Duty early is not all it's cracked up to be in terms of, like, the actual gameplay. So, picture, you guys don't like skill-based matchmaking? Ho, try having a Call of Duty game early. So, when you have the game early, every single person that you're going to be playing against in the multiplayer are going to be one of 3 people. Number 1, other YouTubers, right? Other YouTubers trying to record footage for when the game actually goes live and we can actually, post videos of it. Number 2, professional Call of Duty players. You can run into a lot of professional Call of Duty players. Number 3, people from other sides of the world that don't speak English. So those are the 3 people you will run into while playing a Call of Duty game early. And as a result, it is like skill-based matchmaking like crazy. Like they're either going to be amazingly good players because they're either YouTubers or pro players, or sometimes they can be terrible players, but they have very bad connection because they're on the other end of the world and there's so few people playing the game that they're actually matching you up with these people. Yeah, so it's pretty rough playing the game early. It really is. I mean, of course it's fun to be like, yeah, these are the new maps. Yeah, these are the new guns. This is so cool. This is what the customization's like. That's going to be cool. But the actual gameplay itself, where like you're constantly in a sweat fest, and everybody has like everyone has about a 1 KD. Everybody goes like, I'm making up numbers, but in the game of domination, the last 10 minutes long, everybody goes 25 and 25 or something like that. Like that's a lot. That's what a lot of the scores are. Very rarely does somebody actually, break out from the pack and end up, going with like a 2 KD or something like that. But I'm looking forward to trying out the multiplayer. I'm looking really forward to zombies. I'm really looking forward to zombies this year. And, of course, I want to try out the new free run game mode. That looks really fun, just from what we saw from the trailer. That looks really cool. And, of course, you have the campaign there, which I'm interested to see what the campaign is going to be like. Like, there's so many things about Black Ops 3 this year that I'm just like, I want to play it so bad. I want it right now. And hopefully I get it on Wednesday. That would be awesome. Like, how cool would it be to be able to, like, record the entire campaign and like, have an entire Let's Play of it ready to go as soon as the game actually, the embargo breaks on it, and being able to be like, hey, guys, I made it to this round on zombies, which I can see how I did it, and have that content there for people that want to see it. Now, obviously, everybody's not going to want to see it right away. Like, right away, people aren't going to want to know, where the Easter eggs are and whatnot on, like, the new zombies map. But some people will, and so as a result of that, I'll be able to make that content, and hopefully people will enjoy the videos, and yeah, I think it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to Black Ops 3 early. Hopefully, fingers crossed, guys, fingers crossed I can actually get it early. Because the three of us, we all purchased from this guy, and he had like 3 or 4 copies, which, how does he get those copies? I don't know. I can guarantee you he stole them. How else could he get them, right? How else do you get Call of Duty early and then like be able to sell it like on eBay and stuff like that? Like, you have to have stolen it, right? Like, but I don't know. I go with a don't ask, don't tell kind of a mentality when it comes to purchasing early copies of video games. And if you guys would ever like to like purchase an early copy of a video game, it is possible, but keep in mind you're going to be paying more money than you probably would want to, to get Black Ops 3 early, you're looking north of $200 at this point. Now, the closer you get to the actual release date of the game, then you're probably going to get a lot better prices because people aren't going to charge that much to be able to get the game, 1 or 2 days early. Like, the prices will actually go down, and it can get a little bit better. Like, sometimes you can pay like $90 to get the game 2 or 3 days early, then that can be pretty nice. But if you want to get like a week and a half early, you're going to have to end up paying more. There's kind of like a give and take there. But if you would like to ever like try and get a video game early, you can usually find them on eBay. You have to find listings of it on eBay from people that have the game in hand. Another one is Craigslist. You can find sometimes listings on Craigslist for like your local thing. I looked at my Craigslist, and I live in a small town. Like, my town is so small, we don't even have our own Craigslist area. I had to look at the Craigslist listings for Erie, which I talked about in the last episode of Sunday Sit Downs. I had to drive up to Erie to get a new power supply for my PC, and just how much I hate driving in the city and whatnot. And I looked up there on the Craigslist there. There's a guy up there that gets Call of Duty early every single year, but he charges $500. $500. You have to meet him in a public place, and then you have to pay him $500 in cash, and no, you can't purchase more than one game for whatever reason. $500. I'm like, you know what? I want Black Ops 3 early, but I don't think I want it that. I want it that bad. And so, and plus the entire idea of, I like working with eBay because it's like anonymous. You got the person like just sends it to you in the mail, and it just kind of shows up to your house. Whereas if you usually meet somebody on Craigslist, you don't just want to send them a check because there's no guarantee they're going to send you the things back. And you don't just want to like meet this person like in a public place because it's like, what if we don't know anything about this person. Obviously, they're like a criminal of some kind that they have the game early. And so I recommend trying to get it through a service like eBay and stuff like that. I've never actually gone the Craigslist route. And another way you can possibly get Call of Duty games early is some websites will try to sell it early. You have to find them. They're usually very sketchy looking websites. Also, you can try and call up local mom and pop shops. Now, but the thing about it is, like, there's not a lot of mom and pop video game stores out there. There's no mom and pop's GameStop out there where they're selling and stocking like the newest, latest, and greatest games. Typically, if you find a localized game store, a brick and mortar game store, it's going to be like a jack of all trades game store where instead of trying to sell you an Xbox One with a copy of Black Ops 3, they're trying to sell you a Sega Genesis with a copy of Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, they're working with old school stuff. They're working with like board games and like old school games and old classics and whatnot. So sometimes you can find people like that will have some of the newer games because, of course, stores get the games early. They get the physical versions of the games at their stores a little bit early so they can do stock and inventory and whatnot before the game goes live and they can actually put it on the shelves. So sometimes you can convince people. I've never had success with it, but some people have. But yeah, that's essentially how you get Call of Duty early. You just have to, you really have to work at it. It's sometimes terrible. Like, it could be a full-time job trying to hunt down one of those things on the internet. I'm not even kidding. Like, I remember, what was it? I think it was like when I was trying to get Call of Duty Ghost early. Like, I was just sitting there, like, scouring the internet for days. Like, I wasn't even making videos. Like, I was going days without making videos because I was spending literally the entire day just, scouring the internet trying to find an early copy of Ghosts. And yeah, so it can be time consuming, but I think it'd be worth it in the long run if you're a YouTuber. If you're just like a casual fan of Call of Duty, obviously you don't want to spend a bunch of money on the game early, whereas you probably already pre-ordered it and all that. So to each his own, I suppose, when it comes to that. But I'm definitely looking forward to Black Ops 3. I'm definitely looking forward to trying to be able to make the best videos I can possibly make. And yeah, hopefully things will be pretty fun. So what else has been going on this week? What else has been going on this week? Nero's getting sick. Nero made a Patreon. Nero maybe getting Black Ops 3 early. So I discovered Etsy. All right, this is actually something I would like to talk to you guys about. This is a really cool site. If you guys ever been to Etsy, it's etsy.com. And if you go there, you can buy some of the coolest stuff. So what it is it's a website for like, I don't want to say arts and crafts, but it's essentially a website for like fan created content. So go to Etsy, type in Call of Duty, and you'll see a bunch of stuff that's made, like it's like handmade, like by the community and whatnot, and it's usually very cheap. Like, it's a place where really creative artsy people can come and put together stuff around whatever it is you want to look up. Like, you can type in Call of Duty, you can type in like The Walking Dead, you can type in anything you're interested in, Game of Thrones or whatever, and there's just gonna be a bunch of really cool stuff there at really cheap prices. It's just really cool. Like, if you go to arts and collectibles under Call of Duty, there's people that actually put together all of the perk bottles from Call of Duty. Now, these ones are a little bit expensive. The ones I'm looking at here in particular, they're $10 a bottle, which seems a little bit expensive. There are some cheaper ones out there, but it's just a really cool site. So I'm actually like starting to decorate the entire office with like different kinds of video game paraphernalia and whatnot. I'm getting some Call of Duty posters. I'm getting some of the perk bottles and whatnot. It's gonna be pretty cool. I'm definitely looking forward to that. So I found out a little bit about Etsy. That's something that I've been on that a lot actually this week, kind of just looking at all the really cool things on there, because it's all like handmade. It's all like just made by people, like creative, like the same stuff that you'd find like arts and crafts stuff. It's the same idea, but it's made by people, and they'll put it on this website, and they're usually relatively cheap in terms of the price too, because they're not made by like in some warehouse and some factory and whatnot. And so it's pretty cool. Like, in particular, the Coca-Cola bottles are made in New Stanton, Pennsylvania, so that's actually not that far away from me. So yeah, Etsy's been pretty cool. I'm like the embodiment of the Slowpoke meme. If you guys ever seen the Slowpoke meme, it's a Slowpoke the Pokemon, and the whole point of it is he finds out about things way after everybody else has, and that's how I always am. Like, I am up to date with gaming news. For the most part, I'm really up to date with gaming news all the time. I focus a lot of my attention on that, obviously. And so I'm usually pretty good when it comes to gaming news. But when it comes to like anything else, I'm so behind like the rest of the world. Like, Etsy's been a popular thing for a while, and it's like I just now found out about it. Same thing happens with music. Like, there'll be a song that's like ridiculously popular and everybody knows about, and then I'll find out about it like a month later. And just I've always been that way, guys. I've always been that way. I don't know. It's because I'm old. I can't keep up with you youngins anymore. I'm 23, which I know there's a lot of people that follow me that are a lot older than that. But God, I am old. At least I feel old anyway. I don't know. Maybe it's part of it's because my voice is so raspy and I'm feeling sick, which, oh God, I usually do get sick this time of year. I really do. I usually get sick, kind of the transition between fall and winter. I don't know why. I end up getting sick usually about this time every single year, which, speaking of winter, it started snowing here. It was snowing here in Pennsylvania, so I may be a bit of an exception to a lot of people out there, because I do live south of Lake Erie. Like, I am in like western Pennsylvania, and so as a result of that, we get what is called lake effect snow, which essentially means our snow is usually worse than a lot of other people because it comes off of the lake. And but yeah, it was totally snowing this week. There was like snow on the ground. Like, I saw it snowing at night, and I just kind of sat out there on my front porch. I'm like, this is really nice looking. Like, I look up at the street light, and there's snow falling down, and it just looks really nice. Like, it's not even cold out yet, but it's snowing at the same time. It's that weird time of year. And so I'm like out there in like a t-shirt and shorts, like sitting on my porch and just like watching the snow fall underneath the street lights. I'm like, this is really pretty. I like this. But when I woke up the next day, the snow is still on the ground. It was accumulating. It was on my car. Like, I'd like brush off my windshield, and it's like, holy crap, why is it snowing already? Did I miss fall? What is happening here? Like, fall is just started. It's not time to snow yet. We got another good month before it should be snowing.
So I don't know if that's telling. There's always like those old wives' tales where it's like, if it snows early and it doesn't stick, it's gonna be a good winter. Or Punxsutawney Phil pops his head out of his hole on Groundhog's Day or whatever. He can tell you how long winter is gonna be or whatever. And yeah, there's all those old tales and whatnot. But yeah, hopefully the winter's not too bad. Because there's one thing I've learned, growing up, and I think a lot of you can relate. Because what's weird about YouTube is that like, I'm kind of growing with you guys. I'm sure a lot of you guys were younger when you first started watching my YouTube channel, and now you're getting older. There's a lot of you guys who are like seniors in high school now. A lot of you guys are off in college. Some of you guys are out in the workforce. Some of you guys have been out there for a while, and you're actually adults that are older than me. And so we're all kind of growing together here. But there's one thing I think that everyone can agree with, those of us that live in parts of the world that have snow, is when I was younger, I loved snow. It was the coolest thing in the world. Snow was amazing. I loved looking out at the snow. I loved playing in the snow growing up. I would go sled riding. Like, I grew up like out in the country, so I would like go sled riding. I would try to snowboard, although I never liked snowboarding very much, unless you actually go to like a full-on like a resort almost, where like it's designed to snowboard. Like, I don't see the appeal for snowboarding, because for me personally, I don't like being strapped in like that, because if you want to like bail, like you can on a skateboard and just jump off, you can't do that with a snowboard because you're strapped in. So I was more keen to sledding. I like sledding a little bit more. But yeah, I loved winter. Winter was like one of my favorite seasons, if not my favorite season. I thought it was great. As you get older, it's like, oh, it's snowing. So now I gotta drive slow. Now I gotta spend 15 minutes just to brush off my car before I can go anywhere. Like, what would normally be like a 5-minute trip down to the store to grab a Gatorade or something, now becomes like a 20-minute ordeal because I have to brush off my car because I have on-street parking here. There's no garage where I'm at. And so I have on-street parking. I have to like go and I have to like brush off my car. I have to let it warm up and whatnot, and I can't just like quickly go down to the store, which would usually be like a 5-minute drive there. I have to like make an entire ordeal out of it. And that's like the worst part of winter to me. So I guess as you get older, winter starts to become more of a hassle. But then again, if you live in like someplace like California, which I know my demographics, a lot of you guys do, it's pretty awesome out there, just because it's like, what, like 60 degrees, maybe 70 on some days out there still. I think it's primarily 50 to 60s, but still, it's like nice in California during the winter. Same thing goes for like Florida and whatnot. So yeah, apparently it's pretty nice for you guys, but for us, it's awful snowy, awful cold. And speaking of cold, I can just feel my voice going more and more and more as the video kind of gets going along. Like, I towards the beginning, I thought it was like especially raspy, but I think it's like the more I speak and whatnot, the more I'm using my voice, like the better it kind of feels. But now I'm like kind of on the downslope again, I feel like, and I have a feeling after I'm done recording this, it's going to be just awful. Like, I have a feeling it's gonna be sometimes if you have a sore throat, the more you talk, the more you're active out there doing your day, you feel kind of good. If you're out there at the workplace or if you're at school or whatever, you usually feel okay during that time span because you're like using your voice and you're talking to a lot of people and whatnot. But by the time like you're done with school or you're done with work and you kind of go home and you just start chilling out, playing video games, watching TV, eating dinner and whatever, eventually like your voice kind of like climbs up a bit. It starts to like close a little bit because you're not using your voice nearly as much, and it's like, I can feel that. I can totally tell that's going to be happening as you saw down this video. But ladies and gentlemen, I do hope you guys all enjoyed the second episode here of Sunday Sit Downs, a weekly vlog where I sit down, talk about life, my channel, me, tell you some stories, what's going on. Just it's a nice, relaxing series I'm going to be posting to every single Sunday. Well, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I am going to end off the video. I am going to take a bunch of cough drops, probably some cold medicine, and fall asleep probably because I'm starting to feel terrible. Well, ladies and gentlemen, once again, though, I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Remember to leave a rating, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.